Okay, so I have no makeup on, so I'm just going to show you like a quick application of how I put it on. I have my two highlights in here. My regular highlight shade, which is like your foundation. My lighter highlight shade, which is like your concealer. Then I have the bronzer and contour shade. And then my blushes I just have in a whole other palette because I just use a different color every day. So first take your regular highlight shade. I'm just going to use the smaller end of the blush and bronzer brush because I can apply it most quickly that way, and it's more like an airbrush application, if that makes sense. So take the highlight shade, your darker one, and I just kind of put it all over, pretty much all over my face, except for where I want to put the lighter highlight shade. And I'm just dabbing like very, very lightly. So kind of like middle of my forehead, my nose. So I basically just brush that everywhere except for under my eyes, my eyelids, and like middle of my forehead. And then I take a little bit and I brush it down my neck too. I always put a little bit on my neck. So now you take your lighter highlight shade, your concealer, and I just put like a dot under my eyes and a little bit right there, and then down my nose. So these are the only places that I put my concealer shade. So you're going to want a smaller brush to apply that. You can use the smaller end of, I forgot what this guy is called. And just put it under, middle of the nose. And then for my eyelids, I go back in with my concealer shade with the bigger brush and just brush it all over my eyelids. So now basically all your foundation is on, okay? So now all you have to do is your contour and your blush. So I like to put contour and bronzer on sometimes. So this is the contour. Just put like a line right there. So that's contour. And on my forehead. And I'm pretty sure you have Bella bronzer too. So I like to take a little bit of the bronzer too and put it right above. You can use just the bronzer or just the contour, but I like to mix both of them because I just really like mixing shades. I think it's fun. So you can go in with this brush, the flatters. I don't know why I can't remember what this brush is called. So now I'm just blending in the contour. Kind of like brush it up into your hairline. I always use like upward strokes when I'm doing the contour because you don't want to blend lower than that line I just drew. So you start where I drew the line and blend up. It's like you're lifting your face as you're blending. Then you can take a little bit of the contour and do your nose. Then to do blush, my daughters are fighting right now and I'm about to go crazy on them. So blush, and I don't know if you got an illuminator, but you can pick a blush color, and I just put a dot on each cheek. And then if you have an illuminator too, you can put that right above it. That just gives it like some shimmer. Then I take the larger side of my blush brush and just blend that in. Now, if you feel like you went too heavy on the blush, like I feel like I just did, you can go back in with one of your highlight shades and just kind of like add some more of that, like push the blush away from where you don't want it. Since it's all cream, you can just keep blending it until everything's where you want it to be. And then once you have everything where you want it, so I'm just going back in, making sure everything is blended. Without adding more product on the brush, I'm just using this kind of to like stipple it in my skin. Then you will want to put some setting powder on. I just use an e.l.f. packed powder, and I only put the powder where I put all my highlights. Like I'm not putting powder over my blush or my contour. Okay. And then you use a setting spray. That's my quickest application. It took 5 minutes. I have other ways, but that's pretty much what I like to do. I like to put my highlight all over my face and then go in with bronzer and blush. I feel like when people use the most, like where they're putting the dots all over their face, I feel like then everything's blending together. Like I don't want my blush and my bronzer like blending together while I'm blending. I just like to do like one shade at a time. It's just easier for me. So I did that really quickly, but as you can see, 5 minutes, full face of foundation, donezo.